Look at the prices of tuition, Mom. I'd found a great way out of my hometown. In Newfoundland, the tuition for university is lower than anywhere else in Canada. Doesn't it just make sense? Just out of high school, my main ambition in life was to trade my small town for another town. Any town.
St. John's pretty much has the same population as here in Loganville, Samantha. Aren't you looking for hustle and bustle? Besides, it's so far. Your father and I need you for your company.
Mom's plan had been for me to take a year off after high school to work, save up, and then go to the University of Ottawa or McGill in Montreal. I would be much closer to home that way. Mom, I'm dying! I can't spend another year in this town. She took a moment, then just sighed.
Well, you better call home every day.
My eyes were dancing.
Hey now, don't celebrate just yet. You'll have to discuss this with your father too.
Was I excited? Yeah, I guess you could call my calculations of exactly how many minutes till moving day excited. My dad and I hadn't talked yet, but he was such a pushover, I just knew I'd have my new city.
You can't go.
My jaw dropped. I've done a million but dads in my life, but this time I was just dumbfounded. You can't be serious. Oh, I get it. Dad, is this a growing up too quick thing? It's not like I'll never come back. I'm still going to make it home for Christmas and stuff. And I'll phone home every day. Ask Mom, I already promised.
My answer is no.
This could not be happening. Dad, that's just unreasonable. It makes total sense to go. Financially, academically, this would be huge for me.
It's not safe. You're too important to me.
It looked painful for him to say this. Ugh, Dad, St. John's has like zero crime. And it won't be a road trip getting there. Planes are safer than cars. Everyone...
It's not the planes or the crime. It's the ocean.
Dad, what does that even mean? My dad had pretty much the most boring job on Earth. Literally, it was a boring job on Earth. He was all about geographical studies and mapping and anything dull about rocks. While he at least had the courtesy to keep work to himself, he was passionate about this junk and you couldn't always stop him.
When I was out of school, my first job was a marine topographer. I was mapping the ocean floor for fiber optic companies to find the best places to lay cables, which meant I was at sea a lot, sometimes for months. I saw things out there, Samantha, and I got readings on instruments I could never explain.
So what? There was something in the water?
No, it was the water itself.
He sighed.
I was practically laughed out of the scientific community, but I really need you to listen. Water does a lot more than just boil at 100 degrees and freeze at 0. Water is the dominant force on Earth. Not a thing can live without it. For an inanimate substance, that's pretty remarkable, wouldn't you say? Just water, the way we think of it, could never do that. Rivers don't carve canyons at random or cleave valleys by chance. Evolution didn't revolve around water as a mistake. It's been shaping the planet to serve itself. It's just that it only reveals its secrets to a certain few. Maybe it considers them worthy, maybe it just wants to drive them mad. No substance on Earth is like water, and that's because water is not just a substance, it's a living thing. The oldest living thing on Earth, in fact. It's also the first creature on Earth to have made contact beyond our planet. It has liaisons with the moon. We call them tides, but very few people understand that they are, in some way, communication. It's stellar, don't you see? Water. It's extraterrestrial.
Dad, are you feeling okay?
Samantha, I'm deadly serious, and I can't let you live so far away from me and so close to the ocean.
But why?
Because it wants you. You're the only one I've ever met it wants so badly. I couldn't live with myself if it made a move for you and I wasn't there.
Dad's home office had always been kind of unofficially off limits, but I'd never felt the need to snoop, so this was probably my first time in there. There were maps of what looked like the ocean floor neatly pinned to the walls. Others that looked like weather patterns or something were each pinned above their corresponding section of ocean. Above all, everywhere there were pictures of me, and I noticed a bookshelf sporting rows and rows of video cassettes labeled
Samantha.
My dad looked one up and popped it in our old VCR.
See anything interesting?
He asked. The picture was grainy but still clear enough to make out. It was me as a child at the beach, kneeling in the sand, just at the waterline with waves calmly lapping against the shore. It wasn't very noticeable at first, but sometimes the waves nearest me, they didn't quite sync up with the natural rhythm of the water. When they should have ebbed, they seemed to refuse, like they were fighting to stay up as high as possible on the beach, reaching out, almost lifting up off of the sand, grasping for my ankle. When the water got high enough to encircle me, it really looked like it was giving me a big, wet, unwanted hug. You could almost see the water compressing my legs together. When it ebbed, dragging me in its arms, or trying to, it was powerful enough to make my kid self lose balance and almost fall into my sandcastle. Okay, I said. That was a little weird.
Keep watching, there's more.
The picture cut to another beach on another day and focused on me again, actually in the water and swimming this time. The lake's surface was calm like glass. I was doggy paddling lazily, just enjoying the water when ripples started appearing around me. They were ripples, but not like any I'd ever seen water make. They were more like the rippling muscles of a predator. They moved in a circular motion around me, first clockwise, then counterclockwise, like they were testing the best angles of attack. The rest of the water's surface was still unbroken. I ended up watching hours of video. Waves came from nowhere in calm water, crashing over my head, but instead of breaking, they had all the appearance of a sheet thrown over me to drag me down. Coming out into land, still soaked with water, it was so reluctant to run off of me that it barely did. For minutes, not a single drop would fall, not even from my soaking hair. When it did start to drip off, the water looked like sagging, grasping hands that just wouldn't let go. Looking around Dad's study, this had clearly been on his mind for a long time, and I just wondered why he hadn't told me. It was like I just met him for the first time. I figure now that's just part of growing up. I'll admit this is pretty weird, Dad, but you still obviously let me go swimming, right? So why the sudden overprotection now? And I'm confused, like, is it that St. John's is dangerous just because it's coastal or something? I don't see any reason why all of this means I can't go.
It's because, Sam, I can't let you go anywhere. Ever.
Dad stood between me and the door.
I still need to finish my experiments. Just a couple more to go.